Hello everyone, and welcome to a live match preview show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for this evening. It feels like a lifetime ago since we did a match preview for the Premier League, but we're back and ready to go once again. This time, we'll be facing a tough opponent on paper, which is Tottenham Hotspurs, but in terms of their recent form, that might be another discussion altogether. So, what we'll do during the show, we will analyze our opponents in terms of how they've performed this season. I will present the team news, the predicted lineups, and I'll also give you my score predictions as well. So let's start with our assessment of Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, uh, they are currently 11th in the table. Uh, Only one win in the last 5 games, and that win was a 2-0 victory against Brentford at home. They've suffered 3 defeats against Arsenal, which of course must have hurt their pride, losing 4-1. They also lost 2-1 to Fulham and 3-0 recently to Nottingham Forest away. And we thought Arne Slot's position was under fire. Thomas Frank is blazing right now. Spurs fans are quite simply fed up with him. They believe that this job is too big for the manager and he's out of his depth at the club. Um, for me, it's crazy because when the season started, I thought they looked like a decent team. They made some good signings, in my opinion. They looked defensively sound in the opening games and played as a collective. No crazy tactics like what Big Ange used to do for his team, where he pretty much forgot to present a defense because everyone was an attacker of some sort in his team. Uh, but look, one of the main reasons why they haven't performed well or they haven't got the points this season is because they've had a lot of injuries in their squad. So they have been affected with a long casualty list. But I think the pressure is on Thomas Frank. If he suffers a huge defeat this weekend against Liverpool, unfortunately, it could be curtains for the Danish coach. Now, in regards to Liverpool, the Reds have had a whole week to prepare. Of course, we've still got a couple more days until match day, which for us is a bit unheard of as we're not used to um, not having so many games during the week. We're used to, being kept busy playing a game every 2, 3 days. So even for myself as a content creator, it felt a bit weird not to do match previews during the week because I'm on adrenaline trying to get all these shows lined up for you guys because there's so much going on in terms of our fixture list. So I guess I was able to take a back seat this week, but we're now back in the mix, and Liverpool, for me, need to continue the unbeaten form. No defeats in the last 5 games in all competitions. Now, I wouldn't say Liverpool are back by any stretch of the imagination, but what we're doing is making slow progress and producing a bit of togetherness within the camp. The players seem to be building a better understanding on the pitch, and that's been a bit of a miss this season. And look, in terms of away fixtures, it's never easy to get any points at Tottenham Stadium, but that could play to our hands for this particular fixture because the pressure is on Spurs to deliver and get a result in front of their fans. And look, a win could really help Liverpool get back into the top four. But of course, depending on results around us, you've got the likes of Manchester United, Palace, and Sunderland all on level points with Liverpool right now. United face Villa away on Sunday, which will not be easy as they are on a winning streak right now. 6 wins on the bounce for Aston Villa. In fact, their last defeat was against us on the 1st of November. So they have certainly flicked the switch. And I think it's going under the radar how well they performed since that defeat. Palace face Leeds United at Ellen Road, so that's a tough away fixture there. And Sunderland go to Brighton at the Amex Stadium. So all the teams involved in that top four race, I guess, are facing away fixtures. But I think Liverpool could be the ones that get all 3 points this weekend. So let's move on and present the team news. Now, in regards to Tottenham, Tottenham have faced a lot of injuries this season, but unfortunately, their squad has become a bit more thinner as Pape Sarr and Bissouma are participating in AFCON, representing Senegal and Mali respectively, so they will not be available for the foreseeable future. But they also have injuries, the likes of Dominic Solanke, Kulusevski, Udogi, Madison. They're no closer to returning to first team football. Dragosin and Koto Takai um, may be involved in this fixture as they have been participating in training ground friendlies. So they're definitely trying to get their match fitness levels up. Now, in terms of Liverpool, Mohamed Salah is not available as he's representing Egypt at AFCON. Hopefully, that will stop Jamie Carragher from talking about him. But then again, he always comes across as a person that will raise a random point about Salah. Um, in any topic. So yeah, don't be surprised if he talks about Salah on Sky Sports this weekend. But what I will say is that I will be rooting for Mohamed Salah and Egypt to win AFCON, so he can pretty much shut Carragher's mouth about not winning a trophy for his country. So for me, that would be a nice and sweet moment there for Mohamed Salah. Now, in terms of our current squad, Dominic Szoboszlai will have a late fitness test uh, as the injury that he suffered last week wasn't as bad as we thought. So he could be available for this fixture. Whether he starts or not remains to be seen. In regards to Joe Gomez, who also picked up an injury against Brighton, he's not available for this fixture. However, thankfully, it's nothing long term, and he just pulled a muscle. So he could be in contention to start or be in the squad for the fixture against Wolves next Saturday. More good news. Conor Bradley returns for this fixture as he has served his one match suspension and is expected to start at right back. And speaking of right backs, Frimpong may also have a slim chance of returning into the squad, but I don't expect um, him to start. I'd be very surprised if he's even on the bench, to be fair. I think it would be worth resting him for another week and make his return against Wolves next Saturday. So he can train and rehabilitate the right way, and we're not rush him so soon because of course he's picked up recurring injuries in regards to his hamstring. So you have to manage those very very carefully. But I'm sure Arne Slot will confirm and provide us an update in regards to ping pong tomorrow at the press conference. Uh, Also, Cody Gakpo and Endo remain on the sidelines. Uh, but just slightly off topic, it will be interesting to see what Slot does in regards to his attackers. Does he stick with the inform striker in Ekitike, who scored a brace against Brighton, or does he bring back Isak, who has just won Sweden's Player of the Year award? So it's going to be interesting in terms of the team selection for this weekend. Now, let's present the graphic and do the predicted lineups. Actually, before we do that, let's go through the comments. I see there's a few comments there. Bo says, big up Aussie, big up Bo. He says, the last few days I've been sick, but match previews are a must Aussie. So I will try my best to stay. Well, big up yourself, Bo. I hope you're feeling better. Hope you get well soon. Yeah, it's just that flu season right now. So yeah, hopefully, you're wrapped up warm and drinking as many hot drinks or remedies that will help you, get over whatever you're feeling right now. So hopefully you're doing well. And yeah, thank you for your company. Thank you for tuning in. Um, he's also said, did you see Lewis still talking about Slot and Chiesa? It's on Anfield Talk. I hate the ball frauds, man. Management, get him out. I haven't seen that, to be fair. I might bring it up on screen if I can find it on Twitter. But no, I have not seen anything in regards to Slot and Chiesa. Ozen says, yo, Ozzy, big up Ozen. I hope you're doing well. Bo was also coming to say the way he treats Chiesa, Rio, Endo, Nioni, etc. is absolutely horrendous. You can include the youth academy as well. Slot has ruined the reputation that the academy had on the top. I hear you. His man management does stink, to be fair. Ozan says Ozzy, the following are confirmed out: Saar, Bisuma, Takai, Dragusin, Solanke, Kulezevski, and Madison. So yeah, I think I mentioned all those names alongside Udogi. Udogi is not available for this fixture either. Um, so yeah, they've got some big players in terms of their teams not available. Well, says Thomas Frank always likes playing against Liverpool. He does. He seems to always get a result, whether it's a win or it's mostly draws, to be fair. But he needs a draw or he needs something out of the game more than ever, as his job is on the line, to be fair. Other side, Aussie, do you rate Koto Takai as a rotation option? To be fair, I've not watched much of him, to be honest. So definitely a name I'm going to look out for. Is that the what position does he play for Tottenham? Let me have a look. Because the name does ring a bell, but I'm not sure if it's the player that I'm thinking. So he is a centre back. Oh, to be fair, I don't think this is the player that I was thinking about. So no, I haven't seen much of him. But definitely a name to add to a list to keep an eye on. Of course, he's not available for this fixture. Otherwise, it would have been a great way to scout him as well. But no, I'm not too familiar in terms of his performances this season. Bowles also said, look, like how Edwards and Hughes said they brought Slot because he was similar to Clough. Couldn't find a more different man. In terms of personality, completely polar opposites, aren't they? In terms of tactics, not even similar, if I'm being honest with you. Uh, I know it's always a difficult task to try and get a replacement for Klopp, but to say they wanted to find someone similar to Klopp was just a bit outrageous because yeah, he's nothing of that nature. Even the style of play, there might be slight similarities in terms of the counter pressing, but otherwise, even from build up play and all that sort of stuff, I don't think there is much similarities to be fair. So uh both is on Anfield talk. So I'll bring that up. I will be mentioning a few transfer rumors today as well. So I'll try and bring it up later in the show. Uh Daz, a big up Daz, a big up Aussie. Hope you're well today. I'm okay. I hope you are doing well today, Daz. So let's get into it. Let's present the predicted lineup and we can take it from there. So we'll start with the home team, which is of course Tottenham Hotspur. So let's see who starts with them. So in goal is Vicario, who hasn't really hit the heights like he did last season. I saw a rumor earlier on suggesting that they might want to cash in on him next summer, which is a bit wild to say so far, but I thought he's a decent keeper, to be fair. So he's the goalkeeper for this fixture, I think. And on the left, I believe it will be Jed Spence. Of course, Udogi is not available. Jed Spence, is a player I quite like. I rate him very highly. Um, I think he'll be a fantastic signing for us because he can play left back very comfortably. I remember Salah playing against him last season and really struggled due to his physique uh, and his defensive ability as well. He definitely made a lot of tackles on Salah. He kept him quiet throughout the game, but he's very comfortable on the right side as well. So if Tottenham didn't have Daniel Levy as their chairman, who likes to rob people in daylight. We might have been able to talk business, but I don't think that's going to ever happen. But he's a player I do rate, and a player that I feel like um will do well in a Liverpool shirt. Now on the other side is Pedro Porro. I think he'll start over there, and then you've got Van der Ven, and alongside him, it will be. Who would it be? Romero. Romero scored a brace recently as well. So yeah, it will be him in the back line. So the defense is still pretty much. I know they've got a lot of injuries, but from a defensive point of view, it's pretty much their first team. Even Jess Spence, I think, would be a hell of a doggy if he was fully fit. So no, this is still a solid team. Hang on a second. Have I just done it on the wrong graphic? Apologies, guys. Let me start again. So I've been filling in the wrong graphic. So uh Vicario. There we go, Vicario. And then you've got Porro. Porro, there we go. And then we've got Romero. Van de Ven, and then we have Spence. Now that's the back line. Now back to their defense. Uh, that is completed now. So, um, oh, apologies. What is going on with my computer today? Honestly, let me bring it up. Apologies, guys. Uh, there we go. Hopefully, you guys can. Yes, there we go. Apologies. Here we go. Here's the graphic. Uh, and that is the defense. Now let's move on to the midfield. Um, this will not be easy to predict because in the last game they had Bentancur and they had Archie, and I remember Archie made a mistake for the first goal. Bentancur didn't have the best of games, so does the coach, switch it up and go for a completely different duo, completely different selection? I think he might, to be fair. Um, but what I will say is I can definitely see Halinha starting this one. For me, I rate Halinha. I wanted him at Liverpool before he moved over to Bayern Munich. For me, he's a very, very solid player. And I think a player that they'll probably start alongside him is one that scored a dodgy goal last year in Bergvall. Um, where is he? There he is. So I think he'll start alongside Polina. So Bentancur and Archie will probably have to settle for a place on the bench. In terms of the advanced attackers, Kudus on that right hand side, playing in his more natural role. He certainly wasn't happy playing on the left hand side for West Ham last season. And then number 10, you've got Xavi. Simons hasn't really lit up the Premier League as some would have expected, but then again, it's still quite early days for the new signing. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to go for Kolo Muani. Now, he's a player that is electric on the ball. Personally, I think he plays his best football centrally when he plays on the shoulder. Uh, but I think for this game, it might be worth using him on the left wing because that's where he's played in recent games. But also, from a tactical standpoint, I think it would be smart to have him on that side of the pitch as he'll be going up against one of our right backs. Our right back has been a position where we've not had much stability due to injuries and suspensions, so it could be regarded as a weak area for our team. And up top, you've got Richarlison, I believe, will start for this one. So that is my Tottenham predicted lineup. Now, that's still a solid team. I know they're not a team that's in great form, but if somehow they find a bit of confidence, this team can definitely work well and pose a threat to Liverpool. The likes of Colomwani is someone that I would say we have to look out for. Kudus, when on form, he can be unstoppable. Xavi Simons, very creative, but can also, score a goal from scoring a long range shot. That's one of his strengths there. Palhinha, solid as a rock. Bergvall will play that more box to box role, but can also provide cover for the defense. And the defense looks pretty much solid. That's probably their first choice defense, if I'm being honest. So this is still a very very strong team. So we have to be on form in terms of this fixture. Just because they've been in poor form doesn't mean automatically we're going to get the win. We haven't been in great form. I know the results will say otherwise. I don't think we've played our best football by any stretch of the imagination. So I expect um, Liverpool to at least continue their good form, but they will have to work hard for it. It's not going to be a walk in the park. Just going to go through some of the comments. Before we move on, uh, Oz said, "Did you see Glasner refuse to sign a new contract? What a snake!" Yeah, we'll speak about him later in the show. I've got him listed as one of the topics for today. So yes, we'll speak about him shortly. That's saying hi to Ozan. That's how. Do you think Dom plays Ozzy? I don't think he'll play. I think he could be on the bench. Quite frankly, I wouldn't want to risk Dominic Szoboszlai only because he's just returned from a slight knock, um, and you don't want to rush someone so quickly into the lineup. It's better to have him on the bench, even if he's like 90%. Have him on the bench, and then we can use him for the latter stage of the game, and then hopefully he can regain his fitness going forward. So yeah, maybe as an option of the bench will be the smart decision rather than starting him. But let's see what Slot does. He is full of surprises at times in terms of his team selections. Ozan says hope he's fit enough to be on the bench. I hope so too. I think he might be, to be fair. Double D, big up Double D. Suspense my draft team approves. Listen, he's a baller. So yeah, I wouldn't mind him in a Liverpool shirt. To be fair, that's his. Oh, apologies. Yeah, sorry. I don't know what was going on earlier on. Dad asking, Double D, are you watching the boxing tomorrow? Double D says, I'm actually out tomorrow, but may get back before it starts still. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be able to stay out for it because that fight is going to be. It's tomorrow, is it? It's on Saturday, isn't it? Yeah. So, um, yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch that because the match, the last Jake Paul match, I think against Tyson was on around 5 a.m. in the UK, and yeah, I was yeah not in the best of shapes during the morning, um, and I feel like it was a waste of my time, especially when you watch a Jake Paul fight. It always feels a bit rigged, um, and I'm hoping this one isn't because if Joshua doesn't get the win in this one, he may have killed boxing, and that's not even me being dramatic. To be fair, um, oh, that's a nice and for four. Oh, is that my background? Yeah, big up yourself. Thank you for that compliment. Uh, that's it. It starts at 3 a.m. The last one started at 5, so I don't know. I'm not too sure to be fair. Bosses, where are you standing with Slot now, Ozzy? Oh, I'm still Slot out. That hasn't changed. For me, when I've based a decision on a coach, and it wasn't just results, it's a bit more than just results for me. Of course, losing 9 out of 12 at the time was unheard of, but it was just the way he was carrying himself. It was just the way he was setting the team up. It was the way he was treating some of the players that you've highlighted earlier on today as well. So it's a mix of everything. I just feel like he's out of his depth right now. Just like people think that of Thomas Frank, I think that of Arne Slot. I just don't think he has the personality and some will disagree, even the credibility to be a Liverpool coach. Yes, I know we won the league with him last season, but he also inherited a great squad from Jurgen Klopp. I'm not saying that it was easy work for him. Of course, he still had to implement his ideas and galvanize the squad and get them going. But I think in terms of quality, that was a squad that Klopp brought together. So he deserves a lot of the credit for that as well. So for me, no, I'm still Slot out, but at the same time, I have to be so realistic and I have to be honest with my opinions in terms of what the reality is. And right now, if you look at the results that have happened in the last few weeks, undefeated in 5 games, we're literally a couple points away from top four. So he's got a case for himself to remain at the job. And one thing I will say, I've never really liked the prospect of having an interim manager. It's not something that has ever really worked. Some will say, uh, Di Matteo won the Champions League like that as well. Gus Hiddink, I believe, won the FA Cup with Chelsea. But that's a club that are accustomed to chopping and changing during the season. But if Liverpool were to make that move for me, it would have been, bringing back Jurgen Klopp. who I don't think wants to come back into management, to be fair, or the alternative would have been Steven Gerrard. And to be honest, you can't rule it out. You know, if we were to really struggle and add more else to our resume this season, then his job is still in question. I don't think he's the manager for us going forward. And if they stick with him, that's their decision. I wouldn't be overly pleased about that, to be honest with you. But maybe they're looking at the bigger picture where, quite frankly, they don't think anyone is good enough to replace him mid-season, and therefore they believe maybe we can stick by him until the end of the summer, and then that's the time where you can, I believe, get someone that can be the long-term appointment rather than an interim appointment. So let's see. But my stance, no, it's still pretty much Slot out, and I've not been impressed in terms of the way we played, and even in recent weeks, the games that we've won, I've not been convinced. He did the 4-4-2 diamond, which pleased me because I've been saying for months that's the formation I want to see. Um, but otherwise, no, I've not really been too pleased, if I'm being honest with you. I was gonna say I've never known Ozzy to be flip flop. No, I'm not. No, that's not my style. But if my opinion was to change about a player or manager, I'll be very open. But in terms of flip flop, no, I don't tend to flip flop my opinions. But as Liverpool fans, we can be hypocritical sometimes. I try not to. I try to be as honest as possible. So yeah, I stick with my stance. I'm still Slot out. But at the same time, if my team is winning under this coach, he's not going to be praised, very highly, but credit will be given where it's due, whether it's for team performance or his tactics or the result. I still have to be neutral to that extent. But my opinion still stands. I would like Arne Slot to be replaced in the near future. Uh, Daz has presented his lineup. I will present that after mine. So just bear with me, Daz. Excuse me. Boss asks, why isn't Kudus at AFCON now? Is because Ghana didn't qualify for AFCON. So that's why he is not traveling to play in the AFCON. Other than Hugo is undroppable, literally. I hear you. Burton Jab, so he says, hi OZ, Tottenham 1, Liverpool 2. So that's his score prediction day. Aussie weigh in are now. Is that the weigh-ins for the fight? Okay, cool. I'll have to watch it. We'll have to catch up with it after the show. Bo says the Norwegian football legend, Ange, Her Harid died today. Oh bloody hell! What a man he was. Had the pleasure to talk with him a couple of times. So rest in peace to Aj Harid. Oh, hopefully I haven't butchered his name. But yeah, that's very very sad news to hear. Uh, Ali Kibigo says the problem is we react in the transfer market if someone is injured. We are not proactive. That's my biggest concern. That's a point, to be fair. You guys finding some form now. If Palania doesn't start, you'll easily dominate the midfield. Hmm. I think Palini is key for Tottenham, and he has to start. Um, so whenever we faced him when he was a Fulham player, he was always dominant on the ball and very defensively stable, protecting the back line and intercepted so many tackles as well. So yeah, if they want a result, they have to play him. Also, I don't think he can turn me around at all. A manager at this club is it's not only about results, it's about my management, connection with the fans, players. City is City is more important in my opinion for Swansea. Yeah, I agree. In terms of your points, that I do agree with a lot of your points there. Um, my management, the connection isn't there, yes, because we always hold our managers in high regards. Uh, Man management definitely not there. But in terms of tactics as well, I've not been very pleased with his team setups. We've looked too open. We've looked quite vulnerable. And that's because of our midfield, for example, where everyone's got a bit of a free roll and they seem to rotate in positions. Whereas last season we had a static number six in Gravenberg, and that gave us the foundation, the base to protect the defense. And then, the midfielders ahead and the attackers can do their thing going forward. It's not been quite clear cut this season. So definitely to tweak the team a little bit more. I still believe we need to make further signings in the next couple of weeks. A centre back is a must because we don't have the depth, and I'd like to add another forward as well. Alec, he says, if you guys didn't have Ekitike Szoboszlai, where will you be? Honestly, we'd be in the bottom half, especially Szoboszlai. Ekitike, I'll be honest, he started off really well, then it went a bit quiet, but I think he went quiet because we started rotating him with Isak, and Isak hasn't really hit the ground running. But Szoboszlai has been immense for us. So no, we'd be in a lot more of a predicament, to be fair. And quite frankly, I don't think Arsenal would have a job. So yeah, that's how I would see it, to be fair. Like I said, did you see the Forest Spurs game? Spurs before was non-existent, got dominated yet. So that's why I feel like Thomas Frank might bring in Polinia and Bergwall to switch it up a little bit, but whether he does or not remains to be seen. Arne Slot is non-existent on the sideline. So just like his hair. Fair enough, guys. Okay, let's move on and present the Liverpool predicted lineup. So um, I believe that Slot will play a 4-2-3-1 formation. I think that's the one he's going to stick with. In terms of personnel, this is going to be interesting to see if Arne Slot does what I'm predicting here. Um, because it could be completely different altogether. So it'll be safe to say that Allison will start in goal. Right back, Conor Bradley returns after his one-match suspension, so that's a very welcomed addition to the squad. On the right-hand side, I think Kirkes will remain at left back. Performed really well last weekend against Brighton, so I think he will stay in the team. Van Dijk alongside Konate, as we have no other centre backs available to rotate. And it'd be too unfair to bring the young defender Lucky into the mix. Now, in terms of the double pivot, Gravenberch will start alongside Curtis Jones. Now, this is not what I would do, but I think Arne Slot will continue to play McAllister in that number 10 role. Now, what do we do in the wire? So Verts, I think, will start on the left-hand side. And he must start Chiesa on the right-hand side. There is no way he doesn't start Chiesa on the right-hand side. And for me, Ekatike starts up top. So for me, this has to be the team that faces Tottenham this weekend. Now, I say he must start with Chiesa. But this coach has shown over the months and years that he can pull a fast one sometimes, and he might not do what the fans or the the, the normal logical approach that should be implemented. So I'm going to present an alternative 11. I think this is what should start, and I think it could be close to where it is. But I also think he might go a bit left. So he could go with a 4-4-2, and let me build the players for you guys. So, and not a flat 4-4-2. I think it would be a 4-4-2 diamond, but of course I have to make the diamond eventually. So Bradley there, and we've got Konate alongside Van Dijk, not Van der Sar, Van Dijk, and then Kirkes. So the defense remains as it is. Now, in terms of the double pivot, you will have Gravenberch he will drop as a number 6. McAllister will play that number 10 role, closer to the strikers. And then you've got actually no, apologies. No. That is not what I wanted to do. So it would be, let me just add them on. So Verts will play that number 10 role. You've got McAllister on the left, and then you will have Jones playing on the right side. So you end up forming a 4-4-2 diamond, and then you've got Ekitike and Isak up top. So this could be the alternative setup in terms of the formation and personnel. And as you can tell, there's no Chiesa. So if this is the lineup that we see, there is clearly a personal issue with Chiesa, because I feel like Chiesa needs to be given an opportunity. And look, you guys know how I feel about Isak. I rate Isak very, very highly. But at the same time, I don't think he can displace Ekitike. And I personally believe that Chiesa is due a start. And this will be the game for him to introduce him into a starting lineup. But we can easily see this formation. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think it will be this formation, the 4-4-2 diamond, or do you see it being this one where Chiesa somehow gets a start in the in the starting lineup? Let's see what happens. I'm just gonna go through some of the comments. I remember Dad presented his lineup, so let me bring up his lineup first. So this is Dad's lineup. So he's gone for Allison, Bradley, Ubu, Virgil, Robbo. Oh, he's gone for Robbo instead. Okay. Ryan Jones, Dom, if fit. If not, then McAllister, and then Isak, Verts, and Hugo. So would that be a 4-4-2 diamond, or are you playing Hugo on the left? Because that could be interesting there as well. But then hold on. I'm assuming Dominic's playing on the right hand side on based on your formation there. Um, where's the next comment? Where are we? Where are we? But also, could you see Szoboszlai and Curtis be the captain and vice captain in the future? Yes, I think Szoboszlai definitely has the credentials to be a captain. You know, wherever he's played, he's always been a captain. I think he was a captain at Salzburg, Red Bull Leipzig. I think he was captain, and then for Hungary, he's been a captain there for a long time. So so yeah, I think yes, I think Szoboszlai 100%. I think Curtis Jones as well. I know he splits the fan base, which everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I've always liked Curtis Jones. I feel like he embodies what the club is about, being a boy for dread, and you need those type of players in your squad. So I think he would be a fantastic vice captain, and they're roughly the same age. I think 24 years of age. So yeah, good age to be captains, as you should have longevity in the team and the squad. Do yours then? What Slot will do? So I think. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Slot does what I've done. So in terms of the 4-4-2 diamond. So I think Slot might go for this formation where he plays Ekitike and Isak. But I would go for this formation just because I feel like it gives you a better balance. And I believe Chiesa is due a start, in my opinion. So I know Isak's not in the team, but Isak will need to buy this time because I feel like Chiesa has been knocking on the door more so than not and deserves to start in this team. Bowles' team is Ali, Bradley, Ubu, Virgil, Kerkez, Grav, Jones, Szoboszlai, Verts. And also, I've gone on the basis that Szoboszlai is not fit as well. So if he is, then it of course changes that whole outlook of my team. But I don't think he'll be available. And then you've gone for Verts, Chiesa, and Hugo. Okay, fair enough. Um, Aleki said, anyways, have a good stream. Ciao. Big up yourself, Aleki. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments as well. Master Percy, I like Chiesa more on the left, so he can cut in. So we'll probably start Robbo on the left wing instead of Chiesa at this point. will be anyone but Chiesa, isn't it? Unfortunately. I do like Chiesa on the left as well. To be fair, but I feel like Chiesa is just as effective on the right as well because he's played there predominantly in his career, and I know it was a small cameo, but even against Brighton when he came on for about 10 minutes, he looked really good on that right side. Almost provided the assist for Mohamed Salah, so it could be a more sort of natural position for him. Uh, but I can easily play on the left as well. But I think because we've got Verts as a good option there, I think it might be the case where he plays on the left and inverting a bit more, allowing Kirkes to bomb on the overlap. And Chiesa can probably do the same as well and help Ekitike from an attacking point of view. So I think um, that would be the way, or that would be the tactical setup from Arne Slot. Even though Chiesa won't play, I hear it. That's why I presented two lineups today because I feel like it might be a 4-4-2 diamond. Are any of our players due a suspension, Ozzy? Not damn well. I don't really keep a note of yellow cards, to be fair. Daz said 4-4-2 diamond. Ozan said, I strongly believe that the 4-4-2 diamond is the best formation for us going forward, Ozzy. Ozan, you know my thoughts on this. I've been saying it for months. 4-4-2 diamond is the way forward for this team in terms of the fullbacks that we have, um, and the profile players that we have in our team as well. But Slot hasn't seen the light. I thought he did. That's why I made a video about it on social media. I did a short video saying that he saw the light. Um, the light's gone, unfortunately. He's no longer looking at it anymore now, which is a bit of a shame. Um, Bose says Quansel won't even be back when Slot is here. You can see how much they dislike each other when Quansel had a presser before the City game. Quansel was from the academy scouts, so homegrown talent, a good player. Then Slot came in. He lost one duel and out while he sees Ibu and Gakpo being shipped for months without doing anything. What a hypocrite he is. Yeah, I think Quansah was just not quite ready to be in the first team on a regular basis, in my opinion. I think he was a great cover for the first two centre backs, which of course on paper would have been Kanate and Virgil van Dijk. But at the same time, if the coach doesn't have faith in you, the best thing for you to do is, move on and play first team football where you're able to continue development, learn your trade a bit more. And then look, that's why we added a buyback clause. If we wanted to bring him back, we have the option to do that in a couple of years' time. So I still feel like we'll see him one day. So let's see if that is going to happen at all. That's it. Did you see Mo hasn't been selected for the first match, Aussie? First match for Egypt. Is that in terms of their friendlies? I'm not sure because obviously the first match is next week, isn't it? For Egypt, I believe it's on the 22nd Monday. So um, the picture that I posted up earlier that came from Salah a few hours ago. So they're probably just on their way um to Morocco right now. So I don't think they've revealed the lineup, to be fair. Um, but also, do you think there's some reason why he hates certain players and loves someone else? Like honestly, Ozzy, when you're a coach, the best performing player starts, not reputation. Do you think Slot understands that? Every coach has their favorites. It's if you look at through the history, everyone will have their favorites because there will be certain players that completely understand what the coach wants from a tactical point of view. So there's an element of trust between the coach and the player. So then you have that element of faith. Um, but I think, yeah, I mean, this season, if we had, I know hindsight's a but if we had Diaz in the team, Gakpo would have been rotated a lot more. But because we had Rio, for me, is not quite ready for this level at the moment. Um, maybe sort of felt, we have to use Gakpo a bit more. But then again, Chiesa has been available for large parts of the season and he's not utilized him. So clearly there's an issue there. That's a friendly against Morocco as it was today. I'm so sure Morocco played against Jordan. Yeah, they played Jordan in the Arab Cup final. So no, that wasn't today. Um, literally the picture that I posted up earlier on. Let me show it to you guys actually. Uh, this is what Salah tweeted 5 hours ago. So they're probably just arriving. Um, to I believe Morocco is the host, isn't it? So yeah, they would have probably just arrived at Morocco and they're settling in. So they haven't played today. So no, I don't think that's correct. Um, Bo says, but he hates someone. It should not be like that in a football club, but that's my opinion. Coaches are very stubborn when it comes to these sort of things, whether it's on the pitch in terms of a tactical point of view, or whether it's off the pitch. If they don't like a certain individual, whether it's their mannerisms or the way they carry themselves, or from a footballing point of view, it's just how it works. Remember, for a coach, it's all about results. It's pretty much result driven, and because of that, they have to make their decisions in that way. So yeah, unfortunately, this is how it goes. Um, but yeah, it's a shame. But hopefully, Chiesa gets his opportunity at some point. Um, and yeah, we get to see Chiesa starts a game one day. Hopefully, this Saturday is that day. Uh, Mamush guaranteed that Egypt will win AFCON. That's a huge promise there. He better deliver. You can't make those kind of promises um and not look, because the Egyptian people will go nuts. So yeah, I don't think that was very wise of him to guarantee Egypt will win, and I am actually rooting for Egypt as well. So I hope they do win. Man put pressure on all his teammates. Yeah, he certainly did. He literally threw everyone under the bus, quote unquote, from Salah there. Boss says, how many players smiling, laughing before going on a flight? Firstly, I shit myself every time. Oh no, they're happy to be going to Morocco, getting ready for AFCON. So yeah, it should be an exciting time for these players representing their countries, and of course, hopefully they can do well and hopefully win the trophy as well. So yeah, they should be in positive moods and positive sort of morale amongst each other. So yeah, good to see nonetheless. Now let's move on. I did the predicted lineups, gave you two possible lineups. Now in terms of score predictions, I think two things: Liverpool get the win, and I also believe that this will be the day where my client Florian Wirtz announces himself. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory for the Reds. Wirtz to score one of the goals alongside Ekatike. So yeah, that is my score prediction. So drop a comment and let me know what you think the score will be this Saturday. Bow's gone for a 2-2 draw with Hugo and Wirtz. So we've got the same goal scorers there. Now, let's talk about transfers. Uh, Yeah, Bowles mentioned the Anfield Talk Pass. I'll try and find that shortly, but I think it would be good to talk about transfers as well. So the first transfer is regarding Adam Wharton. Now, the current rumor is that Liverpool have genuine interest in Adam Wharton, and it's believed that Wharton prefers a move to Liverpool over other clubs tracking him. Liverpool may even make a move in January for Wharton, but next summer is more likely. A deal of 60 million plus add-ons expected to be enough to secure his signing. And look, my thoughts on that, I feel like my eyes lit up when I saw we could make a move in January, because that would surprise me. I don't expect us to make a move for Anna Wharton in the next 2, 3 weeks. I expect it to be in the summer. And you guys, I don't have any inside sources to this story at all, but I said it months ago. I believe Alan Wharton is one of our top targets, or is the top target for next summer in terms of midfield additions to our squad. So that's the one I feel like we should be the front runners to sign him. One of the reasons that I've heard is that he's from north of England, and he wants to move closer to family. Wants to move back to the north. He's actually from Blackburn, so a move to Liverpool would make perfect sense in that regards. But also from a footballing standpoint, I think he'd be a great addition to us. I think he'd provide a great balance in our midfield, and I think he can really excel in our team. So, in my eyes, this is the number one target for me as well, and I hope Liverpool can make it happen. If they make it happen in January, oh my gosh, you guys, if you've been following the channel, you would know that when we signed Isak, I was a bit shameless on the show. I started wearing sunglasses and just smiled throughout the show. So if we sign Wharton, you might get that same energy because it's a bit unexpected for us to sign him in January. But in the summer, might be the same feeling. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Uh, Double D says, you think we'll keep a clean sheet? Interesting. I got to stay, as positive as possible. I just feel like Tottenham are in a great position right now. They're not been in great form. They just lost 3-0 to Forest as well. So, they're certainly leaking goals. The attack hasn't really, you know, evolved as a collective. So, yeah, I'm going for a 2-0 victory for the Reds. Um, Daz has gone for 3-0, and he's gone for Verts, Isak, and Hugo Ekitike as the goal scorer. And Ozan said, can he play DM though? Yes, he can. Adam Wharton is a DM. He's a different type of DM, but I think he can play a DM in a single pivot. But he's probably more suited playing in a double pivot, to be fair. Um, so yeah, I think he can. Um, Man, so winning the quad, I remember I was thinking, yeah, I did. I was shameless. I was very shameless on that show. And shout out to Double D, who came on that show as well. I was very shameless. Yeah. But can you blame me? Look how great the summer appeared at the time. Who knew how dreadful it would be going into December right now? Boss says they might turn up at home under the lights, Dozy. Yeah, I'm looking at the other way. I feel like they might fall under pressure because the fans are on this team and they're on the coach as well. Like they hate Thomas Frank. If you see what the Spurs fans are saying, especially some of the content creators, they've had enough. They really don't want him as a coach anymore. So they might be praying for a defeat so he gets the sack. It's come to that sort of level, unfortunately. So I think it can fold under pressure. So it can go either way. So that's why it makes it an intriguing fixture to watch. Boz said, but then we remember we had Slot as our manager. Exactly. And he went on to to win games, and the mood has changed within the fan base. I'm sure they'll still stick with our stance, but a lot of fans have changed their stance a little bit on the coach as well, which everyone is entitled to do. But yeah, let's see what happens this week. It's going to be very interesting nonetheless. Now, next rumor is regarding Dayot Upamecano. Now, according to a report in Germany, Bayern Munich defender Upamecano has been offered to Liverpool. The French centre back's contract expires in the summer, and negotiations for a renewal have hit a wall. Now, in terms of that offer to Liverpool, I would like Liverpool to reject that offer because I don't want Upamecano at my club. I know he's a free transfer, and on paper he'd be an adequate cover or replacement for Konate, but I don't think it's an upgrade at all. I think Konate is the better defender. On the ball, Upamecano might be a little bit better, but Upamecano is very much prone to making a lot of individual errors on the pitch. Not a player that gives me a lot of confidence whenever I watch him. So no, for me, that is not the route to go. So I would hope that this is not true and we do reject that offer because we don't want him. I'd go for different profiles altogether, and Upamecano for me is not the one. Now, moving on to Anton Semenyo. Now, apparently, there was some rumors circulating today that Liverpool have agreed personal terms with Semenyo, and it appeared to be breaking news according to Court Offside. Whether you see him as a reliable source or not, that is your choice. But in terms of the news, I don't know if we've agreed personal terms. I don't think it's as clear as day to get his signature. I think there's a lot of competition for him. Funny enough, our opponents this weekend, Tottenham, are really pursuing Semenyo because they need a left-sided winger in their team. But at the same time, I don't think that would be the club he would go to because of the level of interest he has across the league. You've got the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, United, Man City, Chelsea. So all of the top teams are after his signature. And if he was to choose a club based on who he supports, he's an Arsenal fan. So that's public. So he wouldn't join their rival. I don't think that makes sense. It might just be that whole Eze situation where Tottenham are talking and Arsenal hijack it. But in this scenario, I don't want Arsenal to hijack the deal because I want the player to join Liverpool. So who knows if there's any truth to this? I guess we'll find out in due course. We're only less than a couple of weeks away from the window opening. And I'm hoping if we are doing business, I hope we're doing the work right now. And when it comes to the first few days of January, we've already made the announcements and we've got players lined up to join the club and help this team because we need every help we can to climb up the table and also compete in the Champions League. FA Cup is still there as well. So that would be the way I would want the club to operate. So if we are going to do business, I hope we do it very early in January. Just got a few more comments here. Bowser, if you were a player Z, which manager style would you love the most, Slot or Klopp? It goes without saying, Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp probably over a lot of coaches, just because I like the passion from the coach, and I feel like you know the, I know this term is used a lot. The aura that he has, I feel like you do everything to please the coach, and you'll do everything you can to help the team win. So for me, that's not even a difficult question. That's probably the easiest question I think I've ever answered on my podcast. So yeah, definitely Jurgen Klopp. Oh, as a person, what? It's just the same answer. Jurgen Klopp all day long. That's just our next four after Spurs are Wolves. Yes, yeah. That is. Let's double check. 1 second. I believe that's a home fixture, isn't it? Yeah, so that's a home fixture. And then Fulham away, 3 points. You'd hope so, but not always the case, to be fair. Craven Cottage is a bit of a not bogey ground as such, but we have found it tricky to get points. We've had a few draws there in recent years as well. Arsenal, if we get that, that would be the double on the league leader, so can't rule it out, to be fair. And Leeds at home. I would hope that we get the win. So look, on paper, these matches are all winnable, but right now Liverpool can't do anything based on paper because that was the case. We'd be winning the league. We'd be top of the league right now as well. Um, and we just haven't performed. So we have to do much better as a collective. Give me some tips to come out of this sickness, Ozzy. I need to have energy and be ready to the game on Saturday. You're asking the wrong person. I've been coughing for about 2 weeks. So um, I feel like it might be my mic or the room that I'm in right now because very dusty. Or that's what I'm feeling right now. Um, And I don't generally cough that much during the day. It's only when I do my shows I end up coughing. So yeah, bit weird. So it's probably my mic, and I might have to get a new one. But um, the traditional stuff, to be fair, like ginger, lemon, honey in hot water, that normally does the trick for me. Um, soups, lots of soups is normally good just to keep warm. Stay hydrated, drink lots of water. Yeah, that's the best I can give you, to be fair. I don't really take medicine, to be fair. I don't really like taking syrups and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I just try and stick to the natural remedies, to be fair. Bowser, any player loves a manager who's fired up. Why I can't stop see this Aussie? That's not his personality. There's nothing you can do about that. If someone's not a fiery character, you can't become one all of a sudden. So that's just how it is, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't think that is his persona, and unfortunately, you can't create that persona at all. Bo said, "Why is this season moving so fast?" Also, once again, still remember the supposed free kick. Well, we faced Leeds United not so long ago, but we're facing them, so it's just the way the fixtures are compiled. Um, but yeah, look, this is match week 15. I would like to say, or 16 even. So we literally a few more weeks, and then we're halfway through the season. So this is the run of fixtures, especially in December, where if we can get consecutive wins, the outlook of the league will change, and then we can maybe actually challenge for the title. I'm not saying we will, so don't try and quote me on that. I'm just saying if we were to get back-to-back wins, we put ourselves back into the mix. So very, very important period for us in the next 2 weeks, in my opinion. That's it. When will you be having a guest again, Ozzy? Probably in January at some point, just because of the next couple of weeks. Um, I will try and do my best to do as many shows as possible, but of course, with holidays and I'm gonna have lots of family over and stuff like that, it's going to be hard. So during those sort of festive periods, it's hard for me to get guests over. As in, I'm talking about guests until my shows, just because my shows end up being a bit more impromptu. I normally do 11 o'clock shows, but it might be where I do midnight shows, 1 o'clock shows. So it's a bit unfair for me to line someone up and then say to them that, oh, I can't do this time. So I don't want to mess anyone around. So for me, January onwards, I'll try and get a lot more guests. So big up to Double D. He came on the show, was it 2 days ago? Yes, 2 days ago. We did a Premier League draft. So if you haven't seen that show, feel free to go onto the channel and revisit that. I've also done another show of Double D, which is you can see the little graphic on my right hand side that says all time Liverpool drafts. So this show is exclusive to members. So if you'd like to watch the show and also watch other exclusive content and also get involved in terms of having access to exclusive perks, feel free to join our membership. So I've got two packages to watch exclusive shows. The package to sign up for is FTP Icon, and if you just want to support the channel, you can join the package which is titled FTP Champ, as I like to call you guys, my champs. So that is the two membership packages that I have. And yes, if you sign up, I've already done two shows, so this is the second show I've done. But the plan is to do at least one show per month, um, and it will be Liverpool focus. It will be nostalgic. It will be a show based on discussions. We might have some guests on those shows as well. So definitely something to look out for in the near future. Double D says the thought of getting from Makano is making Aussie sneeze repeatedly. It's making me cough and sneeze, my friend. So yeah, for me, that is a no-no. Ozan says update percentage chance of us winning the league, Aussie. Right now it hasn't increased, but if by let's have a look at the fix. If we were to get 4 out of 5 wins, or if we were to mount lots of wins up to the Arsenal game before the FA Cup tie, and let's say we beat Arsenal and we're only like 3 points away, we're back. We're back in the hunt. So my percentage will definitely increase by a long shot. But gotta take it easy. I can't be getting too carried away right now. This is Liverpool. Liverpool have been so up and down that I can't really I can't really predict how they're going to perform. So yeah, it's very hard to know, if Liverpool are going to be not performing really well or not. So, it's one of those things where you just don't know, isn't it? So no, I can't say anything right now. But let's see how the games go. If we were able to get some points, um, yeah, it might be a different conversation altogether. Bosses thought we could win it all in the new kit. Needs to wear it for another season. So we can win something in it. The kit's nice. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, I was close to purchasing it the other day. Not the other day. This was like last month, and I was so annoyed with the way we were losing. I didn't end up buying it. But I'll have to get one for my son because I've been saying it for weeks to my son. I'll get him a Liverpool top, and I haven't got it, so he'll get one. I'm not sure his dad will get one though, but we'll see. Uh, that's the 17 or 18 this week. Aussie match week. I mean, oh, match week. Let me confirm that with you guys. So this match week is. You are right, that it is 17. So yeah, time is going fast. We've a couple more weeks, and then we will be literally halfway through the season, and that will be the perfect time for me to present my team of the season so far as well. So maybe we'll do a show if we have time. But I feel like there'll be a lot of fixtures going on at that time. So yeah, if not, I'll definitely do a short video on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts for you guys to vote, and you also get involved and comment, tell me what you think of the team as well. Also, hopefully the long sleeve will continue. If it's with Adidas, 100% it will continue. That's why I love Adidas kits, because over the years, whenever we had Adidas, you had the option to have long sleeve or not. I used to always buy long sleeve. But that was also because I used to actually play football on a weekly basis, and playing in the cold, got to try and wrap up as much, warm as much as possible. So, um, but yeah, they do look nice as well at the same time. So yeah, hopefully they do continue. That's it. We try and get Jamie on again with Double D. Of course, Jamie, I'll definitely try and get up. I was on Jamie's show, as in I commented on his show. Um, And he, of course, Jamie Respectable as always gave me a shout, and then he did ask, to reach out to him to do a show. So yeah, I'll definitely try and line up some shows next week, or should I say next week, next month more so than not. And try and get as many Liverpool content creators as possible for the next few months. Uh Daz asks in Double D, who's winning the Rumble? You can ask me, Daz. I'm a wrestling fan as well. I got my prediction right for the Rumble last year, which I'm sure Double D will confirm. But Double D, let me know in the chat who you think will win the Rumble. I think me and you spoke about it off air, but I don't remember your prediction. So yeah, let me know what you think, Double D. Bolton, it's not the manager in 2027. I hope he's not. I don't believe, well, I don't know, this is probably just me wanting this, but I don't think he should be manager past this summer. So no, I'll be very surprised if he's still the manager in 2027. Uh, then the FA Cup as well as yes, we're playing Barnsley, aren't we, at home on the 12th? That fixture's been changed. It was a different date before. Um, I'm not looking forward to that one. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just got that feeling that Slot's just going to not respect the competition and play the kids again or something to that nature, which doesn't um impress me, if I'm being honest with you. Aussie thoughts on FSG selling a hockey franchise for 1.75 billion US dollars. Hopefully, some of that money can be used on Liverpool. So I'm like praying that that is the case. Um, I don't think it will be. It will just be another big chunk of money in the kitty, and it'll probably be used to make some more investments. They are trying to get another football club on their portfolio. So that's why Michael Edwards was originally appointed. He still hasn't done it yet. So with extra funds, maybe he's able to upscale and get a different level of club. Who knows? But yeah, I'm sure they'll be doing more investments to acquire more assets rather than giving us a bigger transfer budget. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Who's winning it? Do you think, Aussie? In terms of the men's, this is my prediction. I'm going to go for LA Knight to win. I think he will win the Royal Rumble. For the women's, if she returns, I'm going to go for Bianca Belair. If not, then I'm actually going to go for Roxanne Perez as my prediction. So remember the names, and if they are to win, you got to come back to me and say well done. Um, Double D has said Drew or Roman, maybe. Maybe gone for. Oh, I don't want to done for win Double D. Nah, I don't think that will work. The Drew makes sense. To be fair, Roman, of course, is the obvious one as well. But I would say LA Knight. I feel like that one is probably the right time to give him that push. Um, and I think it elevates him to the main event scene again. Um, Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns, so he'll always be around the title picture. And I feel like it could be where he fights Cody Rhodes if he's still champion, or whoever had that title, he can definitely create a rivalry with them. So yeah, that's my prediction. That would you say LA Knight, I'd go mad. Uh, would be sick. Yeah, I think it's about time. To be fair, Double D clearly is a big fan of Roxanne Perez there. That's a Seth or Jay for me. Uh, big time wounds. Okay, Seth. So, but I don't think Seth Rollins will be back um, for Royal Rumble. It'd be a surprise if he does. I'm hoping to see Chris Jericho return to the Rumble. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, to be fair. So, if he was to come out, I'd be quite excited about that. So yeah, Royal Rumble should be exciting, and I think they confirmed the time. Um, let me just double check. So in Saudi, they're saying 2 p.m. So if 2 p.m., so oh my gosh, it might be in the morning for us, the Royal Rumble. That's not confirmed, but I think that might. So we will probably get to watch the Royal Rumble like midday or something, 11 a.m. midday. So yeah, very early to watch a PLE. But hey, my son will be happy because he'll be able to watch it live. So yeah, let's see if that is going to occur. Okay, back to football. Mark Gay. When is there a time where I do a transfer talk segment and there's no discussions of Mark Gay? Um, the recent it's not a rumor, but Oliver Glasner made a comment to say that he thinks that Mark will stay until the end of the season. My thoughts on that, I do agree with him. I don't think it makes sense for him to go in January. Of course, I would love for it to be where he comes to Liverpool because we desperately need him. But if I was him, I wouldn't join any club in the window because I feel like Crystal Palace did him dirty in terms of not giving him the move to Liverpool on transfer deadline day, and it could simply be a thing where he waits until the end of the season, he performs to his level, he helps Crystal Palace achieve a good finish because right now they're in the top four, aren't they? So they're very high up in the table, and who knows, maybe they go on to win the Conference League. They are still in it, so I think for him, with all the factors involved, it would make sense for him to remain until the end of the season. He gets a nice send off from the Crystal Palace fans um, for being a model professional. But from his personal point of view, he gets to sit down and have a table of offers, and he can pick and choose whichever one he feels like suits his um suits his liking, but also what suits him at this stage of his career. Um, and he will have a lot of suitors, not just in the Premier League. I think he'll have a lot of suitors in across Europe as well. If I'm being honest with you guys, so I think for him it makes sense to stay until the end of the season. But selfishly, from a Liverpool point of view, I would like him to join in the next couple of weeks. Whether it happens or not remains to be seen. I don't think so, and I've voiced it quite a bit. I don't know if he will sign for Liverpool altogether. That ship might have sailed next summer. But let's see what Liverpool do and what Gay decides in his future. That's at 7 p.m. So I saw something today, unless I got it wrong. Hold on. Oh no, hold on. You may be right. Because it said 2 p.m. ET, which is Eastern time of North America. Ah, so Saudi would be 10 p.m. So if it's 10 p.m. in Saudi, what is that to the UK? 7 p.m. You're spot on. That's yeah. So it will be 7 p.m., which is for me the perfect time to be fair. It's not too early, it's not too late. So yeah, I'll take 7 p.m. all day long. Uh, Ozan says Ozzy, Anthony Joshua better knock out that fraud, J. Paul. Anything else is an embarrassment to the sport. I completely agree with you. Um, if he doesn't knock him out, I don't care if he wins on points. For me, that is an embarrassment itself, but he needs to knock him out. There's no way Jake Paul can survive Anthony Joshua in a real fight. So if he does, yeah, it's rigged. And look, I already think his fights are rigged anyway, but yeah, it will just confirm it even further for me, to be honest with you guys. Okay, next rumor. Speaking of the coach in Oliver Glasner, now, as I mentioned this earlier on, Oliver Glasner has decided not to renew his contract with the club past this summer. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean he's Liverpool bound? I hope not, to be fair. Look, I do think he's a good coach. I'm not going to throw too much shade on the coach, but I feel like Liverpool can do better. I feel like Liverpool can go on and try and get someone like Xabi Alonso or a Luis Enrique. I know Luis Enrique seems a bit unrealistic, but he's still possibly available. He hasn't committed to PSG, so he may want to move on. Nagelsmann, I know he splits the opinions as well. You got Iraola, who will have his contract expiring end of the season as well. So low options out there. So for me, he wouldn't be at the top. Would be a viable option, but I don't know. I would find it to be a bit of a underwhelming appointment if he was to be regarded as the next Liverpool coach. Um, so yeah, I don't think so. But if he's refused to sign a contract, something has happened in the background. Whether it's Liverpool or whether it's another club, he's definitely got a suitor, in my opinion. So only time will tell who that club is that wants to appoint Oliver Glasner in the near future. Now, a bit of an unknown figure here in Gabriel Meck. Now, Liverpool are looking to sign this Gremio wonder kid. Now, the 17-year-old has been compared in style to Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. and currently represents Brazil at youth international level. He is known for his ability to play on both flanks with ease. Now, my thoughts on the kid. I'm not going to say I watch Gremio every week because I don't. He's only just made a couple of cameos for the first team as well. But from the compilations that I've watched, he does kind of remind me of Vinicius Jr. in terms of his dribbling style. The only difference is that he's a bit shorter, but he's actually more comfortable on the right hand side in comparison to Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. is pretty much just one position on the left side. This kid can play both and very effectively. He's got great first touch, very techy on the ball. He loves the rainbow flick. So if you watch a compilation, he'll literally do rainbow flicks here and there. Uh, Great dribbler. Of course, 17 years of age, but not renowned to be a goal scorer. So that's something he needs to add to his game. He's more of a dribbler, so has that in abundance in terms of skill, but needs to add more to his game in terms of end product, goals and assists, because that's what's going to make him become a top level attacker in world football. So a player with huge potential. Apparently, Real Madrid are also monitoring his progress. So if we can get one over them, that would be great. But honestly, I think for the young winger, it would make sense to stay in Brazil, continue to learn your trade there. He hasn't really, you know, broken into the first team consecutively either. So play for the Gremio first team for about a year or two. And then, once you're ready to move over to Europe, then I'm sure the offers will be there. But I don't think there's any rush. He needs to learn his trade and build that confidence. So when he comes over to Europe, he's pretty much ready to adapt straight away. So definitely a name to look out for in Gabriel Mack. Very, very talented player with huge potential, to be fair. Um, I was just like, who? That's what I thought earlier on as well. But you got to check out the compilation. Um, he looks like a very talented player. To be fair, I never heard some of these players he covers on the show. I got to bring up the latest names out there in the world. So I have to bring out these hidden gems that have been linked with the club. So whenever that happens, I try and do my homework and I try and present it to you guys. For me, he looks like he's got some good tackles on him. So make sure to check him out on YouTube and see what you think of him as well. Final rumor of the day. I know McAllister hasn't been linked with a move away from the club. Is actually the opposite. According to Daily Mail's Lewis Steele, he says that talks are now underway over a new deal for the World Cup winner. And it's been described as the contract talks in very preliminary stages right now. So my thoughts on that, I think you guys know my thoughts on McAllister. That doesn't please me at all. I don't want McAllister to sign a new contract. In fact, I actually want him sold next summer. So I don't feel like he is the right profile for us going forward. I'd want a proper number six in my team, or someone like a Wharton who can play that defensive game, but also be a proper deep playmaker and use their physical attributes to their advantage. Because this season, McAllister has been run over far too many times. He's been pushed around. He's been, you know, destroyed against the opponents, and it's not been a good look. And I feel like he's potentially, based on what I've seen this season, may have peaked, and this might be his level going forward. So I don't know. I don't think this is the right speculation for me. If he gets a new contract, I'm not gonna be flashing out or anything like that. But I will say is that I hope he's not a first team player, as in he's not the automatic choice. Same scenario with Konate, and I will stick, with my comments there. And it's not because I don't like certain players or I have agendas on certain players. I rate both McAllister and Konate, but based on this season, they have been poor. And I don't think they should be rewarded with new contracts, quite frankly. Of course, Konate's situation is a little bit different because he's only got 6 months left now. McAllister, I believe he has at least a couple of years, I think, on his contract. So therefore, it's a different scenario there. With Konate, we're in a bit more of a rush. What do we do if he's not showing the sort of impression that he wants to stay? Sell him now in January or let him go on a free. Got to take our hit, unfortunately. Got to take our losses there. With McAllister, we can kind of wait see how he performs at the second half of the season. If he improves, fantastic. It suits us. Hopefully he brings us back to winning ways, and hopefully we can win some silverware as well. And even if he does bring silver, I will still stand with my opinion. I don't think he should be the automatic choice in our midfield. I think it should be Groundberg and probably Szoboszlai and then Florian Wirtz. That would be my midfield trio. And then you bring someone like a Wharton who can challenge for those positions as well. So that's what I would want to do going forward. But let's see. Let's see what the future holds. Um, I wasn't too pleased about seeing this rumor, but that's just my thoughts. And I'm not hating on the player at all. I just don't feel like he deserves a contract extension personally. Boss says the Anfield talk Aussie. Yes, I will bring it up very shortly. Boss says Aussie bring out names like Alexander what Kachan. I can't pronounce that. Kachaniklik and Musialowski. Listen, well, I think we were all excited about his prospect because we thought We might have the next big thing here. If someone, I don't know who, labeled him as the Polish Messi. I'm saying it was me. I didn't do that, but that's what the media was saying. So I know the media got to stop doing things like that as well. And now he's kicking ball in Cyprus right now, which is yeah, it is what it is. But no, look, with these young players, you always have to take it with a pinch of salt, even if they look unbelievable in compilations or whatnot. You know, they have to evolve as players. And it a lot of it comes down to mentality. If they have the minerals to be a top player, do they have the drive? Do they have the determination? Are they ready to sacrifice to become that player? You know, it's not for everyone. So you have to always make sure you manage these young players correctly. And I feel like Liverpool over the years have done a great job in managing young players. We haven't given young players crazy salaries because when you're a kid of like 17, 18, 19 years of age, and you've come from a background where you've not been financially secure, whether you're from the UK or wherever you are in the world, to be given 10 grand a week, for example, that's mind blowing for a kid of that age. And when that happens, you start getting sponsorship deals, you start earning more money from other avenues, and then you kind of feel like you've made it because you're in the first team. You're alongside Van Dijks, your Salahs, and all these players. So you kind of lose that hunger, that determination a little bit, and it's happened. United are proof of that. They've been giving silly salaries to their young players, and look where they are right now. So let's hope Liverpool don't make that mistake going forward. But I feel like Liverpool are very well renowned for, you know, paying their players in the right way, where it's more incentivized rather than, you get a huge base salary and then you get bonuses for like goals and performances and assists. Um, so yeah, but Musilaski is an interesting name there. Bowser Jones, a star Aussie. Oh, 100%. Right now, undroppable, in my opinion. Boss Aussie is an agent though. He has control of the market. Hey, let it be. If that is the case, then I might have to bring those hidden gems from South America very, very soon. Remember Hachi Mastor? I don't remember that. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me bring up the picture of this. There's the Moroccan player. Is that him? Is the Moroccan one? Hold on. Uh yes, yes, I do remember him. He was very, very highly regarded, wasn't he? There was another player that I watched a clip about a few months ago. Fabio Paim, I think he was supposed to be the next big thing at Sporting Lisbon. There's a lot of players like that. He's 27 now. Wow. Yeah, he's pretty much played his trade in Serie A or in Italy, I should say. But yeah, he was supposed to be the next big thing, wasn't he? Unfortunately, just yeah, it just didn't pan out for him. Whether it was his mentality, I think that normally is the issue. Especially, I think he was earning big money very very young. Of course, starting at AC Milan. So yeah, I do remember the name. To be fair, Ozzy says, to my knowledge, Ozzy only represents one client, Florian Richard Verts. Hey, that's what you think. If you see me speaking very glorious about certain players, I might have just given you a little hint there. So Verts could be one of many, to be fair. Boss said the money got to him, filmed videos with Neymar at 16. Yeah, I do remember that. Asaidi. Asaidi wasn't to that level. I think Asaidi made a name for himself in Eredivisie with Herbin, I think is the name of the club. And look, he looked like a really good player. I'm not gonna lie, he looked really, really good. And I thought, do you know what, Liverpool got a hidden gem here as well. Or we've got a superstar in the making. But yeah, Brendan Rodgers knows how to ruin a career, doesn't he? So yeah, that's exactly how that panned out. Before we close the show, let me bring up the Anfield Talk rumor or tweet that Bo mentioned. So let me bring up. Let's see if I can. Okay, where is my X account? Here we go. It was Anfield talk, wasn't it? So let's bring it up. Um, Anfield talk. Okay, let me share the screen with you guys, and then we can go through it together. Here we go. Okay. Uh, yep, that's I've already presented that. Isak winning the Player of the Year. Mm, I can't see anything in regards to Slot and Chiesa that you were referencing earlier on. Mm, apologies, I can't see anything. This is going on to 13th of December now. So, is this the account or am I missing something here? Oh, the Anfield edition. Okay, fine. That makes sense. Okay. Anfield edition. There we go. So we've got some news. Barcelona, which I mentioned earlier on. Harvey Elliott. Okay, I didn't even see this. Could agree to terminate his loan. Wow, the present arrangement providing no benefit to any party involved. If we were to terminate his arrangement with Villa, I think he'll return to the club, and I think Arsenal will just loan him out again or try and get um I think another transfer fee for him. Either loan him out again or sell him this window, which will be hard to do, I think, especially if he hasn't been active for the last 6 months. I think a loan move would be the most likely outcome. Okay, that's positive. So many would prefer a move to Anfield. Mm. I think this is it. So Luis still Arsenal appears to lack faith in Federico Chiesa and was reportedly furious with the report following last season's loss. Plymouth Slot might still keep him out of the sunlight, even if the player scored every week as a substitute. Look, if he's still holding on to his poor performance from last season against Plymouth, look, it was a terrible performance. I'm not going to defend Chiesa there, but he needs to grow up. You can't hold a grudge like that. That's just ridiculous. That was last season, so yeah, I'm not happy about that, to be honest with you. And it shows you his personality. That's not the personality you want from your coach. You know, that was last season. It's old news now. Please focus on what is happening currently. Um, so yeah, not sure about that, to be fair. Ozan's just sent me a tweet as well. Bring up this fella here, Suso. I had high hopes for Suso, to be honest with you. I thought maybe this could be the guy that can really, hit the ground running or have a great future at the club. Although it didn't happen at Liverpool, but I was very pleased that he went over to AC Milan. He had a move in Sevilla as well. So he went to La Liga and Serie A. So he still made a good name for himself. So I'm pleased that he's not one of those young players that had huge potential, but then became the forgotten person. Um, so yeah, I'm pleased that his career ended up being quite successful. To be honest with you, so yeah, did have high hopes for him, but unfortunately, it didn't happen in a Liverpool shirt, and that's probably down to you guessed it, Brendan Rodgers. Both to the back here and start. Yes, I've just read it up for you guys. Yeah, just click the notification. That Baldy is an idiot. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you there. To be fair, um, But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Uh, Thank you to, let's go from the top. Thank you to Bowl. Thank you to Ozan. Thank you to Daz. Thank you to Double D. Thank you to Burton Jav. Thank you to Lecky. Who else do we have? I think that's it. Let me see if there's any other names that I've missed. If I've missed your name, apologies. But shout out to you guys for getting involved, engaging, and sending your comments today. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. In terms of upcoming shows, no scheduled show for tomorrow, but we will return on Saturday for this fixture. Let me just double check. I believe it's a 5:30 kickoff, right? UK time. That is correct. So I'll be back on Saturday, 5:30 for the watch along, and then later in the evening we will do a match reaction show as well. So two shows to look out for. And on Sunday, if we get any transfer news or anything that needs to be discussed, we'll definitely do an impromptu show, probably around 11 p.m. UK time. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to speak with you all very, very soon. Goodbye.